Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this Facebook Live broadcast. I'm grateful if you're catching me live. My name is Bam. How are you? Greeting everyone all over the world who's going to be tuning in. I'm super duper excited tonight because I have another special guest tonight, and she is a John Maxwell certified trainer. I'll be introducing her in a moment, but you're gonna want to prepare for this live interview. You're gonna want to have your notebook and your pen. We're going to be discussing, or rather, she's going to be talking about leading through crisis. How to get through. Obviously, everyone knows that we're in the middle of a crisis. Millions of people all over the world are have lost their jobs. Businesses are closing down. Truly, a crucial time for leaders to rise up. So, who better to have here as a leadership expert than John Maxwell certified trainer, right? So. Just to sort of like set everyone, get everyone prepared for the night of interacting with Coach RC, who's my guest. Again, make sure you have your pens and your papers. Also, if you want to tag, kung gusto nyo mag-tag ng mga friends nyo, please tag them. If you feel like you want to share the video and you're getting a lot of value from the video, please share the video. I'm also live on YouTube, by the way. I forgot. Hi to everyone on YouTube as well. During the interview, if you want to say hi, please say hi. I'll be posting your comments on my you'll see it live here on my screen, right? And it'll be great to hear from you guys. Let me know what you're learning. Perhaps towards the end of the live broadcast, we'll have a lot more people joining. But towards the end of the broadcast, maybe 30 to 45 minutes into it, if you have any questions for Coach RC, please feel free to ask, and we'll have you there. What's up, Mr. Winchester Lim is here. I appreciate you, bro, for being here. I'm excited to share a lot of stuff with you guys tonight. So thank you, Win. Just like Win did, you can comment, you can put an emoji so that we know you are with us tonight. I mean, who is excited? Okay, so just to start off again, you can put in, if you are hearing me clearly, like I forget to do my audio test and everything, please comment yes so that you can hear me. I know that you can hear me clearly and you can see me. Just comment yes on the comment section here, and I will introduce our guest. Okay, so our guest, as I mentioned, is a life coach. Okay, she's a trainer and an entrepreneur, and this is what excited also a lot of people. She's I think she's the only person I know who is a John Maxwell certified trainer and facilitator. Okay, John Maxwell leadership coach. I mean, how many of you have get to have that title, John Maxwell leadership coach? I'm glad it's loud and clear. Okay, so she was certified in Orlando, Florida, in the US, March of 2017. She's also certified in the DISC personality profile training, assessed by the John Maxwell team. So I know a lot of you have already had your own experience with understanding the different personality types, and how it can help you in relating with people in your family, relating with people in your business, in sales, so on and so forth. So she is certified by the John Maxwell team to do that as well. I am super duper duper excited, and I also admire her humility, because mahaba yung bio niya, but she also said, Bam, as simple as you can do it. I appreciate her for her humility as well. But I won't take any more time. We'll get right into the conversation tonight. Please welcome my special guest tonight, Coach RC Sustiguer. Welcome, RC.
Hi, Bam. Hello, everyone. It's a great opportunity to be here. In fact, sabi ko kay Bam, I'm in the space of unang kinakabahan, and there's also excitement, because I know this is also a night of adding value to people around us. Yes, yung mga nakikinig sa atin ngayon, also those na yung makakanood din ng replay nito.
Yeah, and thank you again, RC. And I'd like to say thank you, as we go live. First of all, I appreciate you for also connecting with the content that I'm sharing. And I also appreciate you for the kind words that you've been saying. Alam mo, pareho naman tayo ng, I mean, we have the same faith. We both want to honor God with what we do as well. So I appreciate those kind words that you're sharing. Also, I think this is such a timely interview, Coach, kasi a lot of people have gone through a lot of struggle in the past 2.5 months. A lot of people, Coach, have also are still going through a lot of struggle um, with this whole pandemic thing. Even though we are now in Manila, we are now in what they call GCQ. So hi, Darlene. Thanks for saying hello. I hope you guys like this. I mean, I'm with Coach RC. I'm just now, so RC. Now I'm excited. Like I'm super duper excited. So I also wanted to say, Coach, don't worry, guys. If you're listening, tas medyo may konting lag or delay in terms of the interview. It's we're I think you might be about medyo nasanay na kayo with that because of the internet signal and the audio and all that stuff. But we're gonna try our best to interact. But say yes if you're here and you're excited. Comment yes in the comment section below. So, Coach, I mean, just to get started, kamustahan muna tayo. How have you been? Like with this whole lockdown. I guess number one, where have you been locked down? Which city? And then, what has your experience been like 2.5 months of being in quarantine?
Currently, Bam, I'm in the province. I'm in Coronadal, uh,
Coronadal.
just 30 minutes away from General Santos. During crisis, in fact, for me, this is a gift. During lockdown, hindi ko talaga siya na-experience na nasa box ako. In fact, for me, God allowed me to stretch my horizon as well. So talagang iba rin pala talaga yung pag inalaw natin na ang Lord yung kumilos. There is this stretching, and even if there is something inside, mga alam natin, negative things, negative emotions, it's part of life. Mapapagdaanan natin ito. Pero iba yung experience once you know that you're holding on to God, and and you know that you are having the right direction. And during lockdown, in fact, sabi ko nga, maraming stretching na nangyari sa akin. From comfort zone to growth zone, yun yung pinakita sa akin. And inallow na ma-experience ko din.
So we were chatting ni Coach RC just before we started. What we were gonna talk about, and I told her I'm excited. Sabi, you're just gonna do what Bam usually does, which is I mean I'm so interested in people and also learning about Coach, the mindset, also faith, beliefs that are getting people through. But you've mentioned God. I guess we're talking about your faith in God that's helped you. Obviously, well, John Maxwell is a pastor of his own church, I believe, right? And he's been well, I think one of the pioneers of this whole leadership movement. So maybe I'd also like to sort of like talk about that, Coach, if it's okay. Um, like even going through etong pandemic, you're in Coronadal 2.5 months, and sabi mo it was like sort of like clinging to God, being stretched as well. But did you also get to go through those moments where I don't know, you were down, you were feeling sad, or like I'm curious to know. And I mean, perhaps a lot of people are also wondering, ano bang pinagdadaan? Because myself, Coach, I had a lot of moments, especially the first 2 weeks, where I was going through my own fear, my own doubts, my own ups and downs, and then all throughout the whole quarantine. What has your experience been?
The fear is actually normal. Alam mo yung naramdaman ko talaga siya. 'Di ba? Yung concept of fear, andyan talaga.
Wow.
Because probably I'm also doing a lot of roles here in Coronadal, apart from checking my own family, myself, mission, and also I'm also checking a lot of things in terms of managing a company as well. So, alam mo, iniisip mo rin, hindi mo lang iniisip yung sarili, but you're also thinking of others. So, normal talagang maramdaman yung fears. Pero breaking the fears, yun naman yung pagdating ng breakthrough. Apart from naramdaman mo siya, you're heading towards the breakthrough moment. Once you break it, yung paradigm, yung alam mo yun yung takot, pag nakawala pala tayo doon, iba yung experience. In fact, Bam, I'm actually sharing the leaders, itong mga leading through crisis. It is because I've been sharing this in several trainings, workshops about yung nangyari sa akin. I'm a product of depression. So alam ko yung pakiramdam ng hindi mo talaga alam kung paano magsisimula. And alam mo yung pakiramdam na parang you don't know where to start. But in my case, I started with faith. So it's about faith overpowering my fears. Kasi pagka inalaw ko yung fear to overpower my faith, probably I will be defocused, I will be off track. So yun yung nangyari sa akin. And I had great moments with God as well. Na sabi ko, if you're gonna heal me from depressions, from anxieties, let me add value to people. Hindi lang siya dapat mangyari sa akin. I need a breakthrough moment na merong purpose. And so I'm sharing the John Maxwell program. It is because I know a lot of people are going through the same thing. A lot of people are having difficulties in managing adversities. Kaya naisip ko na ito rin yung pagkakataon to really help people to shift their own paradigm as well. That adversity can actually be turned into an advantage. It can be turned into an advantage if you will just check your greatest potentials, just unleash your greatest potentials.
I'm well. Thank you. Well, first of all, thanks for sharing. I mean, your personal experience. I mean, you mentioned depression also, Coach. Having gone through that experience. Oh, but by the way, good evening to Royce, Adrian Tanti. Thanks for joining us, Royce. I appreciate you being here. Please feel if you're watching this, feel free to share the video. Hi, Janine Ramos, who's also watching. Hi, Wilson. Please feel free to share this sa Facebook nyo. You know, and I'll go to the question to RC. I mean, a lot of people have just different stuff that's going through their news feeds. But this is something that I believe will really encourage people who will watch it. I personally know Coach RC, and she really has that heart to want to encourage and inspire and bless people and give them hope. So this is something that people need to hear. So please do share the video. So Coach, I have a question about that. You mentioned about your own depression. I mean, I've been coaching a lot of people through the past 2.5 months. It's been really, really tough for a lot of people, Coach, kasi aside from the financial struggles, a lot of people are also going, of course, through their own mental challenges, right? Mental health. That's something that people have been saying. There's a rise in depression, in potentially, because of people also being abused in relationships, Coach, and all of this stuff. Um, Perhaps before we get into and you want to know the word, we'll get into all the content and other things that Coach has. But I think this is so important, Coach RC, kasi I mean, I've been coaching also women, and a lot of them are just having such a hard time, I think, managing, through the pandemic, and also finding those relationships perhaps that are maybe are beneficial for them. You finding about discerning, Coach, like what's beneficial for me and what is hurting me, and where do I say that I am now being abused, and where do I say that it's okay. I'd like to hear lang maybe, Coach, any thoughts that you've had about this with women, particularly ako women, particularly women that you've coached also in your experience.
Uh, in my experience when I'm coaching women, actually it's not really, hindi na naman po ito tungkol sa mga babae. I guess true to all gender, if we're going to be very be gender sensitive as well. It really depends on the personality type. So
Mm-hmm.
whether male or female, everyone is going through difficulty. Diba lahat naman po tayo napapagdaanan talaga natin yung ganung experience. Pero one thing
Yes.
about women, a lot of women kasi are driven with so much emotions. And when the emotions are overpowering, alam natin na mas mas merong intensity, mas nagiging mataas yung struggle. Kasi the emotions now, yun na yung magiging, parang yun na yung nagde-determine ng actions. And according to Maxwell, and Maxwell has been sharing this, it if it it leads you to breaking moment when you allow emotions to overpower. And sa mga kababaihan, nagiging natural ito. If yun nga, kung hindi talaga magkaroon ng yung sinasabi natin, Coach Bam, na self-awareness. So
Okay.
we have to heighten the awareness for women not to be overpowered with but not to be overpowered by their emotions as well. So it's really good to feed their minds with what is good, what is noble, what will renew their minds. Kasi, ano siya that will really replenish. Kung ano yung nailagay, sometimes kasi ang daming baggage. Diba? We put on a lot of baggage, and most of the baggage that we carry, those are unnecessary. So in pandemic, it's like pagkakataon din ito para mag-let go. It's about letting go time to let go of the unnecessary baggage.
Okay, Coach. Well, first of all, again, good evening to Joaquin Lucio. Hi, thanks for saying hello. Lolit Choa is also watching. Hello, thanks for watching, guys. Again, please say hi if you video. I want to go lang, Coach. And ask you. I mean, I'm overwhelmed. Like I said, just having worked with John Maxwell, but I'll go to that later again. But does he also have a process where you were mentioning baggages and RC? Is that something from we were in the same company before. We were working, as coaches and helping people out. But does John Maxwell also have his own process in your team there, where you also go through this process of being able to let go of baggages and heaviness? Meron din ba kayong process na ganyan?
Yeah. We are actually
And how does it work? Yeah.
we're also talking about challenging our belief systems. Uh, it
Also, okay.
we're talking about challenging the belief systems as well. Meron din kasi talaga tayong mga limiting belief systems. And every time there is a crisis, it limits our focus. Madalas naiisip natin yung mga problems. Once we focus so much on the problems, it narrows our perspective. So in John Maxwell team, it's like our yung company where we are, where we used to be, yung magkasama tayo, Coach Bam. It's the
Yes.
same. It's really an adding value community. Wherein tumutulong din sa bawat isa to take away the limiting belief systems as well. Ano siya it's a process kasi hindi natin siya magagawa ng one-time thing. So it's really an overtime process. Itong pag-change ng ating paradigm.
Thank you for sharing that. And again, hi to those people who are just joining us. So, Coach, now maybe we'll get into this now. I want to ask you about, like, so 2017 you were certified in the US with the John Maxwell certification. Like, what did you actually get to meet John Maxwell? Of course, obviously you did, because I saw your photo. Like, when did you meet? What was that? What was that experience like? What did you say? What was he like as when you were live with him? Maybe you can share a little bit about that experience.
John for me is like a father. So hindi lang siya, he's not just someone who will, yung alam ko dati kasi nababasa ko lang yung book ni John Maxwell. I was just reading his book. When I was 16 years old, I was just reading his 360 Degrees Leadership. And I thought siya yung parang, alam mo yun, parang just a figure. Pero nung si John Maxwell, he's like a father to me. Yun nga, sabi niya sa amin, we will call him Papa John. So it's really a papa. Alam mo yun, a mentor, a friend. And one thing about John Maxwell is that he's not talking as an expert. He's talking as a friend. Kaya ganun din. When you invited me here, it's the same thing that I have. Ganun din, the same DNA that I carry right now. I will not stand here as a leadership expert, but I stand here as a friend, willing to add value. Ano lang yung makakaya, ano yung masasabi, ano yung share. Then if someone here will be inspired with a particular lesson, and that person will apply that lesson into her life, that makes a difference. Even if it's just one person. So I guess lahat tayo ganun yung heart's desire, di ba? Even Bam, that's why I also honor Bam for doing this I mean, almost ano na nga eh, often na, di ba?
Every day. Yeah.
Oo. Ay, hindi na siya parang it's not just once a week, 'di ba, Bam? Yeah.
No, no, yeah. I mean, it will be a because I think it's the same. It's still about helping people. It's still about encouraging people. It's still about um, helping people go from one space where they might be, they're always hurting and they're always suffering to be able to lead them to a place where maybe they can find, love, joy, peace, kindness, and all that. But I think one thing that struck me as you were sharing, Coach, though, is I feel parang ano to eh, you mean you call him Papa John, and I've heard him speak. As a matter of fact, there was one time, Coach, na like I was really down in life, and it was just I think it was either this year or last year, and then I was going through YouTube, and then for some reason John Maxwell was the guy I that popped up or I searched, and then he was preaching in I don't know if it was his church or some church, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but he did say something like about our purpose for being alive, you know, and it was something about like being of service, and don't forget that it's also serving and helping others, if I recall correctly, and that really it really lit me up. It really it sabi ko wow, and it was so simple. I think that's one thing that I admire or love about John Maxwell, like the way he shares or he teaches. It's just like and he's also funny. I know he's very funny as well. Um, but I guess hearing you just share, Coach, though, what I feel sa kanya is when he says, I'm just sharing as a friend, what I feel there is humility, you
Yeah.
know? And I feel your humility also, Coach RC, and that's why I appreciate you, you know? Sabi ko nga, I mean, how can we help people when it makes it difficult for them to even approach to say, oh, no, si RC, I can't. Why? Oh, because she's this. I mean, I hope you guys are hearing this. So later on, Coach RC will give her details where you can follow her on social media and perhaps connect with her. I'm sure she'd be happy to support you guys. You know, as you can see, she's a friend. She's not coming as a I'm the expert, and I appreciate that. I mean, for someone who's worked with John Maxwell and to say that I'm not the John Maxwell expert. I'm a friend. I mean, for me, lalong tumaas yung my respect and of course my interest to like what more I want to know more. I want to
Yeah.
know more about that experience. Sige, I know that you've also prepared something, Coach. No, and I want to honor also that preparation that you have. Do you want to go through it now in the middle while we're still building the audience? You want to go through that,
In the middle.
or
This
you want
time,
to just free flow muna?
pwede ng free flowing, and can I share a slide right now? Is it okay if I share a slide
Yeah,
right
please, yeah, because I'm also interested. I'm Yeah, sure. I'm also interested in that, Coach. Sabi ko, what does leading through crisis mean, especially coming from your perspective? I'd love to hear that as well, and I think a lot of people can benefit from that who are watching.
Thank you very much, Bam,
So
for
yeah, so
allowing.
while Coach is preparing her slides, I'm just saying hi to other people who are here because yeah, go ahead. Yeah, okay. I'll i-add ko na siya.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, here we go.
All right. So I thank the Lord for this great opportunity that He allowed. I know that it is always God's work to share the John Maxwell's leading through crisis. And a lot of us right now, alam natin, we are going through a lot of difficulties, mga difficult moments. And John Maxwell, Leading Through Crisis, we're sharing this just to empower people how to maneuver through times of difficulties and how to really effectively battle distractions during times of crisis and stress, and also to adopt successful thinking habits to think your way through any crisis. And I'd like to share this video first.
The biggest obstacle in your life today could be one of the smallest words in our language. So many times we blame everyone and everything else for our situation, when the problem is this little four-letter word. Pound for pound, it's one of the most powerful and limiting words we can say. What is that word? When. I'll really get my life together when, fill in the blank. How often this word stands in the way of us moving forward in life. How often we procrastinate by waiting for the perfect conditions to begin living life to the fullest.
I will be making more money when.
I'll start giving to charity when. I will be a better employee when.
I'll invest time and money in my growth when.
I'll start treating my wife better when.
I'll really start getting in shape when.
By adding when, we make excuses. We separate ourselves from the responsibility. We set conditions for our actions instead of taking the first step. The word when implies that something outside of ourselves is holding the key to our progress. Everything you need to fulfill your goals is already inside you. You only need to see your boundless potential, and the journey is underway. Today, don't pause your dreams waiting for the right conditions. Success meets you where you step, not where you stand. Take that first step and watch your path illuminate before you. Live your life without the when.
So that's a video that will inspire every one of us to yung video na yun that will really inspire people to really evaluate if they're asking questions, when is the right time to begin my breakthrough moment? If it's is this pandemic a wrong time, a wrong timing, or this is also the right time? Well, it will begin first with how do we really see who we are? If we want breakthrough moments, even in difficult times, we will allow ourselves to be defined by God. At the end of the day, siya pa rin naman magde-define sa atin. Who we are, we will remember who we are according to His definition. But I will be very happy to share to everyone about this profiling that uh, William Morrison, he was the one who authored this personality profile. And the D stands here, it's your dominant person, and the I, you are an influencer, and then the C, you're a compliant person, and then the S, you are a steady person. So this will just be a brief discussion. In fact, ano lang po, konting details lang po yung ma-share ko due to our time as well. But sa this po, remember, whatever is your personality profile, if it would be better, I highly encourage everyone to take your personality test. If you're a D-wired person, an I-wired person, a C-wired person, or an S-wired person. So a D-wired person is someone who wanted to take, a person who wants to take the authority all the time. This person is more aggressive, um, loves to really loves to initiate, instigate. Ito yung tao na talagang I want to take the lead. And then the I person, the influencer, you're a person who loves to talk, loves the crowd, likes to influence, di ba? Parang narinig ko yung voice ng aking friend, di ba? But I work with people, you really love to be with people. And whenever there are people around you, you feel that you are supported. And steward people naman, sometimes people would love details. Alam mo yun, parang you love to plan, you love to organize things, you don't want messy things. Talaga, alam mo, lahat-lahat, parang makakahanap ka talaga ng desperate. The SR people kasi they value you for who you are. They will accept you for who you are. They are people who are steady, and they don't like a lot of changes. So during times of pandemic, I'm sharing this personality of God. It is because during times of pandemic, lumalabas kasi yung kataan natin, yung mga stress signals, Coach Mel. Yung mga pagkakataon na kung saan uh, allowing ourselves na uh, maging dominant sa personality sa atin. So, if you're a smart person, your greatest fear is
Wait, excuse lang, coach. Ah. Excuse lang, coach. Medyo nawawala-wala yung audio mo. It's getting a little bit softer.
yeah,
Yeah, that's better. That's better, coach.
this one is better.
Yeah, much clearer. Yeah.
All right, okay.
So
So if
we're talking about the stress something. Thanks Winchester for letting us know about the audio. Thanks Lolit for commenting. Keep commenting. Let us know about the content. Go ahead.
yes, please. Sige, Coach Bam, you can actually talk as well. You can ask if during the discussion.
Okay, sure.
For the D-word, going back to what I shared about the D-word people, ito yung mga tao na, di ba, they would love to begin, they would love to instigate. The greatest fear of the D-word people, usually they are afraid to be taken advantage. Yun yung pinaka-greatest fear. The R-word people, they're afraid to be rejected. The greatest
Who's afraid? Who's afraid to be rejected? Sino to?
required, the influencer. Yun yung mga-
Influencer.
they love the crowd, they love the company of others, and the greatest fear is to be rejected. So, yun na rin yun. During the time of pandemic, during the time of crisis, ito yung ano niya, yung something that this person needs to work out, the courage to be disliked. Kasi hindi naman sa the courage to be disliked as well. Kasi not everyone will be able to give attention. Dahil sa times of crisis, everyone is busy about their own endeavors as well. They're also having a lot of mga activities na ginagawa. Even they're coping with their own pace. And the I-word, na minsan naiisip nila na they're being rejected, pero greatest fear niya to. But again, if you are having this higher level of awareness, it's the same thing. You can actually do the shifting. And the C-word people, the compliant people, yung sabi ko na yung strength nila, they're good planners. The C-word people, usually their greatest fear is actually criticism. And during times of crisis, maaring magkamali sila pero wag lang silang pagsabihan sa maraming tao because they don't like criticism. And for the acquired people, the aspired people, ito yung mga sinasabi natin, Coach Bam, na steady people. They don't like a lot of changes. So if the company, say for example, in a company setup, pag S-word, kasi majority of the population nasa S-word. Pagka yung majority of the employees are S-word people, what they're afraid are changes and transitions. And if you're the one managing the company, ito yung kailangan maging sensitive tayo. Kasi alam natin na the S-word people, they would love to submit, they're very loyal. However, they would love gradual changes as well. And so, dahil mataas yung stress signal during times of crisis, a lot of people are focusing so much on obstacles. I mean, yung mga limitations. But what I'm actually encouraging everyone, ito yung hope ko for tonight. My hope is that if you're watching tonight, you will not focus so much on your stress signals or your fears, but you focus so much on our giftedness. It's like when you focus on your giftedness, you focus on your faith because you know that your giftedness comes from a higher source whatever, ano yung tawag mo doon, from God, your higher source. Yet when you're connected to God, you're connected to your giftedness. And if you are a type of person, you can actually do a lot of things that will benefit others. If you're D-ward and alam mo na, alam mo Bam, na talagang you love to begin things, you love to instigate. This is actually a great opportunity to start something that will benefit you and others as well. And 3 times of pandemic, in fact, you can actually build your legacy. Why? You can actually use your gift, use that gift of being so bold, being so aggressive to begin, being so aggressive to lead people, and you'll never know. Ito pala yung pagkakataon that you'll begin a company that will help more people. Hindi na siya company that na iniisip mo lang yung ROI, but you're thinking of what will benefit others as well. It will be a social entrepreneurship this time. And dahil fear mo to be taken advantage, you will now experience, meron ka rin namang mga gifts. And this time you will ask yourself, what will I begin to initiate right now? What will I begin to instigate right now? What will I innovate this time that will benefit me and other people? Because of the courage that God has given me. What is it? Ano ba yung legacy na pwede ko iwanan? And for the I-word people, because you love the crowd, you love to inspire. In fact, hindi natin alam ngayon ba, someone is listening right now and I-word person siya, pero during this time of pandemic, pwede niyang gamitin yung gift to write a book or to do video blogging as well that will inspire others. Ito na yung pagkakataon na hindi mo naiisipan yung rejection. But this person will begin to influence, motivate, and connect. And for the S-word people, these are people who are steady. Ito naman yung pagkakataon na during this time of pandemic, siya pala yung gagamitin to become peace builder, counselor, listener. You know, diba, you just need someone to listen most often. If you're experiencing so much pains, ang kailangan mo lang pala yung someone na makikinig. And the S-word people, again, they're the population of the S-word people, malaki sila. Diba? Huge pagdating sa numbers. So, there are many peace builders, counselors, negotiators, connectors, communicators. So for the C-word people, dahil magaling sila sa details, at kahit alam nila na meron silang fear of criticism, this is actually an opportunity to be a think tank. Probably to be a think tank of the government, think tank of the company, or a mission group, content developer, planner. Kung wala yung gift na yun, alam mo pa rin na kung wala yung gift na yun, ano yung silbi ng buhay? Bakit ka pa humihinga ngayon? And why are you breathing? Ask yourself. We're gonna ask ourselves. Ako, tinatanong ko yung sarili ko right now. If dahil binigay yung mga gifts na to sa akin, how will I use those gifts for me to add value to the people around me? And not just add value to the people around me, but how will you use your gifts to glorify God? Now you will begin to understand na yung wala naman palang mas magaling sa lahat, like D, I, S, C, whatever is your personality profile, you can actually contribute. Whoever you are, you can contribute. So you cannot say that D people are better or S people are better. You'll begin to understand that each of us during times of crisis has a particular role. Whether in our community, in the nation, in our family, meron talagang kanya-kanyang strengths sa bawat isa. And so, as we recognize the strengths of everyone, we begin to connect. And as we connect, we increase the influence, diba? So, in these times of pandemic pala, kailangan natin ng Bluetooth. Bluetooth to connect to everyone's heart. And kailangan natin mag-connect because alam natin na hindi madali ang mga pinagdadaanan natin. And
Yes.
during times of crisis, it is important to check, di ba ba? Kasi during times of crisis, mataas yung stress signal at nakikilala natin kung sino tayo. Crisis reveals who we are. And not often lumalabas yung positive side. Kadalasan negative side ang lumalabas. And so we are allowing ourselves to look at our purpose. Diba? Dahil lumalabas yung mga negative side, the anxiety, the frustrations, sometimes ang nagiging nagiging reason for stress yung expectations. And because lumalabas yung mga negative side, we will now begin to turn our shift. The word is really shifting. We will begin to shift instead of us looking dun sa mga problems. We will now begin to shift and look at the purpose over pandemic. Purpose over pandemic. So we will begin to turn adversity into an advantage. And I'm going to share this one. I'm very excited to share this. That John Maxwell said, everything uphill is worthwhile. And alam natin na mahirap ang pinagdadaanan ba? It is difficult. However, alam natin it will be worth it in the end. So ano yung mga tatanggalin pala natin? And ito rin yung mga na-stretch sa akin. Yung mga question mo kanina, Coach Bam, na kumusta ka during pandemic? In fact, sa akin, it's about stretching. Kasi marami akong na-realize na mga downhill habits. I have this vision for myself, for the company, for where God placed me right now. Pero yung nag-a-allow sa akin na instead of me moving forward, God is also allowing me to see different habits na kailangan na siyang ilagay. And sometimes we have uphill perspective, but our habits are downhill. And during times of pandemic, ito yung pagkakataon that we will begin to evaluate. What are the necessary things that we need to carry and what are the unnecessary things that we need to let go? And by the way, Coach Bam, if it's okay with you, I'm going to share 11 points that John Maxwell shared and how to really lead during crisis. So number 1 yun, yung everything uphill is worthwhile. Then number 2, John Maxwell said, there is always an answer for everything. Also, I'm going to add, Christian Simpson said, the quality of the answer depends on the quality of the question. Marami sa atin ngayon nagtatanong, kailan ba ito matatapos? Until when will it last? But there are also kinds of people, the one type of person will ask, until when will this last? The other type of person will say, while I am in here, habang nandito ako, what lessons will I turn into value? Ano yung mga dapat kong matutunan and while I'm here, ano yung mga dapat kong gawin to add value to the people around me? And how will I benefit from this situation? So this crisis pala will allow us to really discover who we really are from the inside to the outside. Ito yung moment, pagkakataon na we will evaluate anong meron sa loob, ano yung programming sa loob. Kaya lumalabas siya. And our programming inside will just manifest outside naturally. So, kung during times of crisis, if you feel, kung tayo nakakaramdam, kaya tinanong mo rin ako kanina, Coach Bam, how are you? Naramdaman ko yung nasa furnace ako. And I know a lot of people experiencing the same thing as well. Yung parang maraming nawala, maraming kailangang habulin. There are ifs, buts. Pero this is actually a perfect moment of refinement, as if you are like a gold. Diba yung lahat ng gold tumataan dun sa oldest method. So, ganun din pala yung crisis. And this crisis also developed a positive lifespan sa atin. And parang rubber band. stretching who we really are. And in this time of pandemic, the number 5, feed your faith and starve your fear. Ito na yung sinasabi ko kanina. And very excited ako to really allow ourselves to say goodbye to our fears. It's not really easy. It's not easy. Alam ko po yung pakiramdam na hindi madali ang saying goodbye to our fears. But the journey is worth it when once we say hello to great faith. Diba? So it's always faith over fear. And the higher the intensity of crisis, the higher the intensity of our faith as well. So if you're someone right now saying, how will I begin? Begin with greater faith. And there you'll see a greater perspective. A lot of us will, meron tayong ganitong concept na to see is to believe.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible is really bold about saying to believe is to see. And we never know. Ang dami-dami palang magagandang bagay na po pwedeng gawin ang Lord sa buhay natin during this crisis. And what we can do is just look at ano yung mga motions na po pwede natin gawin. Kasi motions, if tayo ay kumikilos ng maayos, if I'm talking of the action, motions, sabi ni John Maxwell, ano siya? He's referring to actions. Now, if you're sad, begin to look at, begin to do things that will make you happy. Ibig sabihin, if you feel negative things, then do something that is better. So, realize that emotions influences emotions. If you feel that you are needy, then give. In this pandemic, this is an opportunity for us to give. If you feel that you lack compassion, this is an opportunity for us to really extend compassion, and there you will experience the joy. It's if you feel that you are rejected, this is an opportunity to also acknowledge others and feel others. Kabaliktaran siya, di ba? Pero alam mo that it has an impact pagdating sa overall emotions mo. Kasi you will now begin to look at greater focus. Ano yung mga dapat mong tingnan? Where you drive your focus impacts your life so much. And so, the number 7, today matters. Kaya nga pagkakataon ito ngayon, kahit very short time lang ito, I'm gonna ask the viewer as well, what is the decision that you're gonna make today? Kasi alam mo rin naman that life is fleeting. And sa Bible, di ba, alam natin, the Lord is telling us, there is no guarantee na ang buhay natin, there is no guarantee of tomorrow. So the Bible says, teach us to number our days. So today, while you're watching live via Facebook right now, what is one thing that you want to do that will really create a breakthrough sa buhay mo? And you're not gonna do that tomorrow. You're not gonna do that next month. This is a great opportunity to do it now. Today really matters in terms of pandemic. Kasi wala siyang guarantee na meron pa ulit bukas. And in pandemic, dito natin na-realize na magpo-focus lang pala tayo dun sa mga bagay na mahalaga. Crisis reveals our priorities. Like what Confucius said, life is simple, but we insist to make it complicated.
Yes.
Diba? Life is so simple, but we insist to make it complicated. And number 8, John Maxwell said, reflect instead of react to adversity. Yun na yung sinasabi ko kanina na reaction, pagdating sa, pag emotion yung nag-overpower, it lacks intentionality. You cannot move. We are stuck. And so, this crisis, para lang din tayong nasa examination. And we are examining ourselves. If we are feeling bad, we will begin to evaluate what is really inside of us. So crisis reveals what is inside of us. And alam mo, Bam, this is a good story of si Darby pala, before, Are You Darby used to be a miner. Tapos, napagod siya sa hanap ng gold. And ang ginawa niya ba, he sold the machinery, the equipment, and yung binentahan niya, na na shop, yung owner nun, he was very wise. Ang ginawa niya, he looked for experts, geologists, naghanap siya ng mga magagaling expert pagdating sa mining. And nangyari, binalikan nila kung saan nag-mine si Darby. And Darby was just 3 feet away from it. You never know, during times of pandemic, itong crisis pala na to, once you decided na to give up, hindi mo alam, malapit ka na pala doon sa goal na hinahanap mo. And this is a great opportunity not to really give up. And ang maganda kay Darby naman sa kwento niya, kasi hindi niya inisip yung failure niya, na it's really a total failure. For Darby, failure is not actually a failure, but what he considered failure as a lesson. So what happened to him, what happened to Darby, sabi niya kung hindi niya mahanap daw yung gold doon the literal gold, nahanap niya ito sa ibang industry. That's why he was one of the pioneers of the insurance industry.
All
So,
right.
yeah. So, di ba? Ganun lang pala yung buhay. Kung hindi nag-work sa isang area, then probably God has a purpose. Meron din siyang another area na paglalagyan sa atin. So, number 9, adversity makes you relatable to others. There you will recognize that others are also struggling, and they are also experiencing pains, and now we begin to be sensitive to their stress signals, and we will listen to their repetitive words. Hindi lang pala, it's not just our world that's existing, but it's also the world of others. And we will create more bridges than walls, and we will realize that it's not just our worldview that exists. We will begin to understand others as well, and we will be more compassionate this time of pandemic. Although I know, Bam, it's not easy to check on others, kasi alam natin sa pagkakataong ito meron din tayong mga sarili-sariling isip. But once we enlarge our perspective, makikita natin others are struggling as well. Instead of us looking at our pains, we begin to open our doors to see the lives of others as well. And there are a lot of homeless, like in New York. When I visited New York, ang dami-daming homeless, and these are just one of the scenarios na nangyayari sa buong mundo. And yung mga frontliners natin na hindi na nakakauwi, alam natin na sila, they're doing a lot of sacrifices, and once we recognize as well that their pains are also uh, those pains are also difficult to grasp kung alam mo kung nandoon ka rin sa ganong experience. And a lot of people right now, they're struggling. Meron silang uh, mga layoffs. Maraming nawalan ng trabaho ngayon. And business establishments are closing. But despite of everything, during this crisis, if we begin to look at the big picture, we will recognize, instead of us thinking of what are the things na nawala, what are the things that you've lost along the way, we will begin to think, what are the things na pwede namang ma-capture this time? At ano yun? If we're gonna look at the bigger picture, we become bigger from the inside and so on the outside, and we deep dive to your purpose. We deep dive to our purpose, and this crisis will reveal our greatest calling. And there, the number 11, John Maxwell said, this adversity will make us stronger. And James 1:12 says, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters. Whenever you face trials of many kinds, be like an eagle, like that soars. But those who wait for the will of God will gain new strength and renew their power. They will lift up their wings and rise up close to God like eagles rising toward the sun. They will run and not become weary, and they will walk and not grow tired. So crisis allows us this time to really lead without entitlement. Alam mo yon,
Yeah.
yung parang you're gonna be of service, be of purpose, without really saying na because I'm doing this because I'm a public servant, because I'm a CEO, because of the title that I have. But really, you're allowing yourself to really lead your family, your community, your wherever God placed you without titles. Kasi ito na yung pagkakataon that uh, you're really embracing the purpose. And as you embrace the purpose, you let go the ego, the title, the position, but you'll be of service because God told you to do it. So it produces the spirit of humility within you. Ito na yung sinasabi mo kanina, Coach Bam, na the spirit of humility. And you begin to embrace people around you. Minsan, hindi naman nila kailangan yung grandeur. Alam mo yun, parang they just need someone to hug them. They just need someone to say, I'm here and I'm here to listen. And it makes a lot of difference to the people around us. So I guess, Bam, that's it. I hope it gave ano din, mga lessons na kailangan din ng mga during times of pandemic.
Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that, Coach. I mean, I've been taking down notes. I just allow there were a lot of questions I wanted to ask as you were going through it, but sabi ko, go through the whole thing kasi alam mo naman ako, Coach, once I start speaking, I'm hard to stop when I start talking also. I'll just ask a question about everything. But anyway, I took a lot of notes. But before I go to the notes, I'd like to greet some people here. We have Robert Tan of Blade, the CEO of Blade is here. Hi, Sir Robert, and your team if they're watching. I appreciate you also, Winchester Lim, for being here from the beginning and commenting. Thank you for joining us. Leo Francis Medina, what's up, Leo? Thanks for joining, bro. Of course, MJ Bahan is here. And Jamela, hi Jam, with her new look. Kamusta Jam? I'm glad you're here. And thank you for tagging your friends. I like that you guys are taking notes as well. So Winchester put here, to believe is to see, right? It's not the reverse, which is it was always before to see to believe, to see to believe. Now it's really a manifestation of faith, right? Being sure of what you hope for, certain of what you don't see. Jamela says, thank you. The days have been overwhelming again. Quite a volatility of emotions. About that a while ago. How both men and women, of course, dealing our own with our emotions, but also particularly for women to also perhaps struggle a little bit more with the volatility of emotions. Kami nga daw, men, we just we're neutral or we're angry. We're quite shallow in terms of our expression of, and of course that's an exaggeration, but but to see a broad spectrum of emotions and to understand it. Now, I'd like to go through just a few things, Coach. No, I mean that I wrote down here. I'll go naman from the bottom up, and I'm also minding our time. If you guys have any questions for Coach RC, please type it in here. But I'll just go through some points, and then perhaps if there's anything that needs clarity, I'll ask Coach. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I love it here where you spoke about the spirit of humility. A verse comes up for me. It's a pride comes before a downfall. And understanding the power of humility. There was it was like a quote that I shared the other day where um, people don't connect to your strengths, but they connect to your weaknesses, something like that. Where it's Brene Brown has talked about that, the power of vulnerability, where a lot of people are running away from vulnerability, but it's actually, in my experience, doing this work for 10 years, and in different languages, Coach. I mean, it's the vulnerability that really gets to connect with people. So I love that. I also like here. I wrote down here, listen to repetitive words. This is something that I do when I'm coaching as well. I guess for those of you who are tuning in tonight, if you're trying to help someone, whether it's coaching or you're just listening, to be able to hear those words that they might say paulit-ulit, that can give you indications of where you can find them. Also, that story about Darby and 3 feet away from gold. I think this is sort of like um, the parang that story of how the hero, or almost the hero, like gives up at that moment when they're about to have that breakthrough. I mean, 3 feet away from gold. But I was very encouraged by that coach. You know, a lot of people they're going into giving up during the season, but to just keep going. Ang sinasabi ko lagi, Coach RC, is this: I know for a fact, in terms of my faith, that God is seeing everything that you're going through, every single detail. He knows it. He knows what you need. He knows the struggles, but he also knows, you know, the good intentions of your heart, what you're trying to do, how you're trying to help people, and it won't be forgotten. But don't quit. But it's especially those times where you're not expecting it that a miracle or a breakthrough happens, and then you know it's from God. You know, not you didn't conjure it up out of your own, you know, mind power and all that stuff. But I'll go some more. Yeah, going back here, number 8, reflect versus react. I love that, which is a framework we share. You know, being able to respond in different situations versus being very reactive. Doing it now because today there's no guarantee of tomorrow, guys. So whatever it is that you guys are planning, do it already today. Ito also, Coach, I love this one where you said it's really, if there's something missing in your life, you do the opposite. So if you're feeling scarcity, that's the perfect opportunity to give. If you're feeling lonely, that's the opportunity to connect and give encouragement to people. If you're feeling overwhelmed, that's the opportunity perhaps to go to people also and support them. You know, whether it's donation or work, as long as you're giving of something for yourself. Ano pa ba? There's just so much that I learned here. Uh, okay, ito may question ako. Like you mentioned here, Coach, about downhill habits. Can you give us an example of what's a downhill habit? And you know, you said here everything uphill is worthwhile, but we're not aware perhaps that we have these downhill habits that are causing us to go the opposite direction. But pwede ka magbigay ng example na nun, Coach? And then we'll take questions if you guys have any questions. Go ahead.
Example of a downhill habit, siguro ang masasabi ko, based from my experience, a downhill habit can be procrastination. I know when I know I'm not in the winning side. I'm not winning when I am procrastinating. That my best is, however, my habit of procrastination is not leading to that great vision. So, sa buhay talagang minsan ang ganda-ganda ng pangarap, ang laki-laki ng pangarap. Pero when it comes to the patterns, the behavior, kung i-evaluate natin, hindi pala siya congruent doon. So ako din, I'm also evaluating myself in that area. If my habits are uphill as well or downhill. So ito yun, yung makita ko habit of procrastination. Yun yung mga pattern ko in the past. Another pattern would be you want to increase your income. However, meron ding mga pattern of pagdating sa mindset na liit pa rin. So yun yung mga downhill habits. You're not really committing to your agreements, even in time, even in terms of time, even in terms of negotiations. Yung mga sinasabi ay hindi pa rin tugma doon sa gusto mong mangyari. Ayun, so those are downhill habits, I think, na it will limit us in the
Coach, yeah. I wanted to ask about this, Coach. Like you mentioned here, by the way, see Winchester Lim said, "Ouch, procrastination." So tinamaan siya doon. Guilty as well. But I wanted to ask a question about that. But before that, like you mentioned, sabi mo about money and wanting to perhaps increase your abundance. But sabi mo, Coach, you talked about, but people are not aware about agreements that they're perhaps not keeping with themselves and with others. Can you talk a little bit, like what does that have to do with you know, creating finances or improving money in terms of income for the people who are watching? So why do I have to be aware of my agreements?
It's because integrity matters in that area. Integrity really matters. Alam mo, a lot of failures, ako din, as alam mo yun, yung nag-lead din sa akin towards maturity, yung learning the integrity of really committing to the words. Alam mo yun, kung ano yung binitawan mo, yun yung gagawin mo. Maliit lang siya na bagay, but it makes a lot of difference in our negotiations. When we begin to value our words and our words are in alignment with the right integrity, we're creating a lot of opportunities to build wealth as well. Hindi lang pala wealth yun. We're also talking of better relationships. Once we create better relationships, opportunity comes in as well. Yun yung na-realize ko, Coach Bam, learning from my past failures as well as an entrepreneur, as a trainer. So, mahalaga pala yun. Yung mga ganun.
I mean, second, that's gold. Since you were talking, you showed gold bars kanina, coach. I mean, that's gold. A lot of people say, I want to make money. Gusto kong kumita ng pera. You know, they keep saying that. But the lack of integrity in the word that they're giving, perhaps their agreements to themselves, which is whether it's to diet or to exercise or to read more or to, ako nga, as simple as making the bed, like, fix your bed up in the morning, if that's important for you you're saying it. Or that's why there's this author that I've been following since like maybe 2 years already, Jordan Peterson. He talks about making your bed. He talks about making one space in your house the most beautiful, because it's those little agreements that you keep to yourself that will actually launch or move forward to manifesting something bigger. But if you're not able to keep your word and agreements with the small things, parang that's also in the Bible, no? Like, if you're not faithful with the small things, how can you be faithful with the bigger things?
Yes, it's actually in the book of Matthew, yung parable of the talents, diba? Yung whoever can be entrusted with little can be entrusted with much. So alam mo,
Wow.
little word can make a lot of difference in businesses, in missions, in different endeavors we're in. So mahalaga pala ang bawat salita. And once we really apply the Bible, ang dami-dami po pwedeng gawin ko sa buhay.
I mean, I want to mention Winchester. If you're still here, Win. I mean, I see this guy. He's doing his planking. He's uploading his videos of him planking and stuff like that. I think, that's so important to be able to do. I did my exercise today, but I've also had those days or weeks where naglalal din ako. But I think what I like about it is when I'm doing it, I know it's a commitment or an agreement I have with and I feel good about it. It's not again, it's not about whether people know it or not, but it's about, is it important for me? But I know, like, when I accomplish that one thing, I know it allows me to accomplish other things as well, coach. So I'm just appreciating Winchester, who's been here from the beginning. I also have a question about this, coach. And perhaps we'll go towards the wrapping up of this interview. You were mentioning different personality types. Okay, like, habang nag-share ka nun kanina, I was thinking about children. So is this also evident in children? Bata, like, what's the age? Are you born with your personality type? Or is it learned as you get older? Like, how do I know if I'm an I, or I'm an S, or I'm a compliant? Where does that, do I learn it from parents? Remember the conditioning, or you need inborn? How does that work?
Okay. You have different sources when it comes to your personality. One is hereditary. You learn that from your parents. The other one, you learn that from your environment, where you are. The other one, from your role models. So even yung mga toddlers pala natin, lumalabas na yung mga personality traits nila. And even from childhood, nakikita na yun. So, one good thing about this is that meron din siyang family version. So if
How's
you
that?
have a family version of this, if you're gonna study this, you'll realize if your kid is a D-wired person, then alam mo kung paano what's the right approach for him. If he's asking too much, if he's the one driving you, if you're not the one, diba, alam mo yun, siya yung mas in control. So, at least you know kung ano yung mga greatest fears niya, ano yung mag-work sa kanya. In fact, nakikita na siya sa birth na lang. It is manifesting. But it can be developed, it can also be developed.
Does it also change? Like, if it's hereditary that I'm an I, example, as I get older, can I become compliant more
Yes.
towards there?
Definitely.
Possible.
possible. And pagdating pala sa this, it can be a combination. It can be a combination of DI, it can be a combination of DC, or by the way, the DC people, they are the task-oriented people. And the IS people, they are the people-oriented. Now, if your combination nandoon sa extreme, if you are D and then the C, you will work out with doon sa pagdating naman sa people development. Kasi alam mo na yung task development. So yung mga kids, if DC sila, yung mga kids, alam natin na yung drive niya sa buhay activities. And yung work out niya naman yung relationship. And people, IS, even the kids, IS, they're more interrelated.
Go ahead. Where does like introvert? There what? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Introvert, extrovert, it's just an add-on. It's just an add-on. You can be a D introvert, you can be a D extrovert as well.
Sorry, naputol ka, coach. Naputol yung signal. Wait lang. We'll just let the signal. We'll let the signal get a little bit clearer muna.
Yeah. Is this better?
Yan. So yeah, I was gonna ask a question about. Yeah, now there's a little bit of delay lang. I was gonna ask like where does is the introvert here? Is the extrovert in any of these personality profiles?
In any of these personality profiles, merong introvert, merong extrovert. And marami din ang naging ambiverts na because of learning how to shift. So if they're aware that they're more people-oriented and they need to learn how to be a task-oriented, meron ng shifting. Actually, yun yung maganda sa talagang may higher level of awareness ka. Kasi alam mo na you really need to shift. If you know that this is your weak side, you will begin to shift so that you will also be very sensitive to others as well. Kasi it's difficult when you have personality. Yeah.
So, coach, again, as we wrap up, no, I mean, so you were saying you could be a D or an I or an S and a C, and there are introverts and extroverts in those person. Did I hear that right? There are introverts in the D and extroverts in the D. Tama ba yun?
It's a different category. Kasi iba pa siyang category.
Different.
It can be an add-on. You can be an introvert that you are. You can be an extrovert that you are. Pero ito lang, yung most of the introverts nasa C kasi sila. Most. Nasa C or nasa D.
Okay.
Task-oriented. Pero it can happen as well na nag-shift na rin kasi. So, yung isang D person, possible din siya maging extrovert or introvert. So, kaya different category talaga siya. It's a different personality category. But it can be an add-on to your personality style.
Okay, so sabi ni Winchester, I think it is a different personality category. Thank you, Win, for the introverted extrovert. I like what Coach said. You can be introverted, task-oriented could be more of the introverts, and people-oriented could be more of the extroverts. Makes sense kasi they want to be around people, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Once you know how to shift, eventually kasi nag-learn ka na ng another character. So, if, for example, you are a D-wired and you used to, alam mo yung parang gusto mo talaga that you want to take control, and usually the D-wired task-oriented sila. Pero pag meron siyang I, the DI, combination of DI, na-learn niya eventually how to work with others at natututo siya how to relate with others, and na-learn niya how to be extroverts as well.
Wait lang, Coach. Nag-ano lang yung audio. I don't know why it's getting garbled. Yeah, nag-garbled lang siya for a while. I don't know what signal. Okay. Okay. Anyway, sige, Coach. I want to ask another thing. Shifty. Oh yeah. So ikaw, Coach RC, like where do you fall into this category? Are you D, I, or S, or C?
I'm a combination of D and I. So a dominant and yeah. So that's why I can really say that pagka siguro yung E-type ko, I can focus on the task. And that's where I'm introverted. Kasi I want to focus on myself. I don't want others to intervene when I'm doing my task. But when there's a combination of alam ko rin na I need others to support me as well. So I like it.
Mm, pwede
So
pala. Now, go ahead.
yeah.
So what? Sorry.
And it's also possible that you have three combinations like E, I, and then S. Yeah. And you can be
Okay.
C and then S. Yeah, a combination of different types. Pero
Mm. Parang
it can be a combination of three.
parang you're most dominant, second dominant, and then third. Parang ganun ba?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a way, Coach? I mean, as we wrap up, is there a way that people you can know it by just when you have you're meeting people for the first time? Can you already know which category they fall into if you're having conversations with them?
And ako hindi. I will not put a person inside of the box for the first time.
Mm, for the first time, hindi.
For the first time because there's so much more to explore about a person. Posibleng
Nice.
that person can be manifesting a certain personality type, but meron pa pala siya. Meron pang, there's more to that person. Nag-evolve kasi yung personality. Diba?
Yeah, but I was also going to say perhaps also yung mood. You might be catching someone in a low mood who's influential, and they're just for that moment. Maybe they're going through something, and then the next moment you see them, they're wild and they're crazy. Pagod lang pala sila or puyat. I mean, perhaps I like that. So not to put people in a box, but to just allow them to be open and to explore. Kasi mahirap din yun. Ikaw D ka kasi, ikaw kasi S ka, ikaw kasi C. Then people don't really have much room to like navigate. I guess in my own experience, it's also been that. I mean, to be labeled in one category, it'll be difficult, right? They say, oh, because you're more introverted, you can't really do training and speaking, and then saan ka pupunta? Because you need those people skills. But to be able to shift and expand, but also know how. I think it also has the higher awareness, being able to understand how you can tap into those other what do you call that, other quadrants or other personalities.
And as you realize your personality type, syempre kailangan mo makita yung stress signal. But apart from the stress signal, you will begin to see the difference. Ano yung
The
meron?
stress signal, got it.
That's kasi di ba may crisis ngayon, kailangan mo malaman yung profile for you to know your stress signal so that when the intensity is higher, you know how to manage yourself, you know how to lead yourself, and to also be very sensitive to the needs of others as well. Kasi you're not just looking at your personality, you're also looking at the personality of others. So your goal there is really connection. Your goal there is really to connect and build connection.
Okay, with Coach, sobrang ganda nun. I mean, your goal is connection. I guess your goal is connection, not evaluation. You're not there to evaluate people. Ano ba siya? Anong personality? I mean, imagine nag-uusap tayo tapos you're evaluating me. Like, I don't like that. Like, why are you evaluating me? Why are you getting so technical? I mean, can we just connect as human beings? I'll just read the comment, Coach. If you have any questions for Coach RC, please send them in. Yeah, I agree, because if we tend to box in a personality, the judgments will intervene from being compassionate and emphatic. Ito si Jamela, she also does coaching, Coach RC, and she helps a lot, a lot of people as well, with others and ourselves especially. That's true. So thank you for your comment, Jam, and thank you for being with us this whole time. Go ahead, Coach.
Thank you very much. Yeah. And apart from that, ang ganda na ng sinabi niya, the judgment will intervene from being compassionate, empathic, with others and ourselves. So, apart from that as well, kaya natin ito inaaral, yung profiling, so that you know to whom do you collaborate. To whom do you collaborate in times of crisis? Because the goal of knowing others and knowing yourself is for you to know how to collaborate. So you know how to support each other during times of pandemic.
I'm taking down notes lang, Coach. know who to collaborate with. And obviously, this is for everyone watching. This is useful whether you're in the crisis or you're out of the crisis, to be able to understand your personality type, how you are, how you react. Those stress signals, what stresses you out. This is so great. Um, for those people who want to follow you, Coach, where can they follow you? Where can they see you? Where can they connect with you?
You can just check my page, it's RCC, and I usually post there my engagements, my invitations, the masterminds. Just like RCC.
This is your page, Coach, sa Facebook.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
also have a website, www.rcc.com.
Okay. Narinig niyo yun, Coach RC's Facebook, RC Sustiguer. She also has her website, RC Sustiguer, www.rc Sustiguer. Please get in touch with her. So are you also available, Coach, for people to invite you to webinars and all that stuff during, this, we're still pretty much on lockdown.
Yeah. If this is our way of adding value to people, and this is the way to glorify God, then I would love to really add value kung saan man.
Well, sige, I'll just, okay, so ito, nag-comment lang before we close. Nakakailang pages na ako with my journal. We'll definitely rewatch this kasi ang dami kong hindi nasulat. Can't miss a nugget. Thank you so much, Jam, for being with us. Sabi ni Winchester, knowing all these lessons the stress of collaborating with people who are not compatible, no? Minsan hindi nagmamatch, no, Coach, no? So, yeah. So I thank you for the comments, guys. Coach RC, I really appreciate your time. I mean, and I apologize. It might be my signal tonight that's struggling. There are times when it's pretty clear and tuloy-tuloy naman yung conversation. But tonight, the signal. I apologize, people who are watching. The signal was a little bit intermittent, but at least we still got to go through it. I wrote so much. I appreciate you, Coach, for being here, for taking the time. Instead of resting, sana nagpahinga ka na on a Monday night. But definitely, I will leave the replay up. It's going to be on YouTube as well for people who are taking notes, so you can rewatch over and over again and take these notes down because it's important. Dito mo mas maintindihan yung sarili mo, kaya pala ganito ako or ganyan yung kasama ko sa bahay. It's because of these different personality types, but not just them, but also your children. You're dealing with children, but not just children. People that also you're also dealing with online when you're doing these webinars. I guess makita nyo yung different personality types when you're doing these online stuff. So with that, Coach, any last words for any of our viewers or anything else, Coach, you'd like to add?
One bold thing that I'd like to share to everyone: dealing with crisis is not easy. It's not easy. I know it is not easy journey. However, if we understand faith over fear, we will be bolder to face whatever it is that we're facing right now. Though it is difficult, alam natin, it is difficult, but it's really high time to be more passionate when it comes to faith. Ito na yung pagkakataon that we will no longer silence our faith. We will be bold when it comes to faith, acknowledging our source, acknowledging who He is, and we may have our weaknesses. Kaya tulad sa mga personality profiles, maraming obstacles yun, limitations. We may have our weaknesses, however, He is our strength during times of attack. During times of crisis, He is our strength. And the last word, I'm going to share this in 2 Chronicles 7:14. If you may, Coach Val.
Please.
My people which are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. Then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. So it takes a lot of humility. Whatever is our personality profile, God designed you for a purpose. God wants you to also surrender yourself to Him fully. 100% obedience. Diba? Alam mo yun, 100% submission to God. Because if we're gonna submit 50%, it's just partial obedience. But if we're gonna submit 100%, it's total obedience. And once we submit ourselves to Him, He will take over. I guess that's it, Bam. The Lord is with us. The Lord knows the heart of those who are watching right now. I may not know their story, but I know God has already spoken.
Thank you. So ako na, on behalf of everyone watching, ako na lang papalapak sa'yo, Coach. Again, Coach RC, it was an honor and a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for gracing our live broadcast tonight. Sabi ni Winchester as we sign off. Thank you, Coach RC and Coach Pam. Listening to you always gives valuable insights about life. I learned so much, Coach. I mean, I'm digesting a lot. My mind is working so fast. But unfortunately, our time is so short. But I really appreciate all the learnings, all the lessons that you shared, Coach, for taking the time on this Monday night. So God bless you, Coach RC. And I'll say goodbye to everyone. Thank you, everyone, for watching and tuning in tonight. I appreciate you guys. Please leave a comment here on what your greatest learning was with this time with Coach RC. Also, feel free to tag your friends and to share this video if it's going to help you guys out, understanding or navigating through this pandemic and these challenging times, understanding yourself, understanding others, also leading through crisis. So God bless everyone. So salamat din daw, sabi ni Jamila, for the generosity of this channel.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Coach. We'll see you guys soon.
For the Lord through your life. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So ending